say, and then you see Corona, yet convoy now. Everybody I'm rabble. Obian is a Sarkodie and Apple. Shaxi, I did the as we one day. That's how strong the brand is. As soon as I know, everybody knew that Shatta is in town. And then this is one of the strongest brands that we have, and it's owned by our very own Shatta Wale and Kamian.
The matter chop hot. Assembly Diloto. Hey! Aye!
After a very long break, I am back to serve you nothing but the best of information, entertainment, and of course, education in our space. This is live on Roland Report. I miss you same as you miss me, and the whole of last week, the to the extent that even the time to record self, now it no be easy, and it was about the responsibility that some of us carried during or before, during, and after Sarkodie's Rapperholic. Yes, it may not be our event, one that is directly connected to us, but as affiliates, especially as sponsors, even as Shaxi, we were part of the conversation even from the beginning to the end. And today, I am very honored and privileged to have a review or to also share my 2 cents on the entire Rapperholic concert that took place at the Babaya Rasford Stadium on the 27th of September 2025. And I know there are certain things that so many people but there are certain things that I would want us to also discuss. And this is going to be a very holistic review, in total, very deep into some of the things that happened. You know, some of us, we were at the forefront, especially from the beginning to the end. So there are certain informations that we hold or we have them that you are going to love. My name is Roland Amate. So if you've not subscribed, just do so and even recommend this channel to others so they can also be part of the big family. We are growing, and big shout outs to everybody that is part of the family. Helping me to do this is Father Tuga, and he is the father of all fathers, holding me down. And of course, Shaxi, Ghana's #1 ride hailing app. If you're a driver, if you want to make some cool cash, last week in Kumasi, I'm out for Chile. Yeah. Just download the app, sign up with just 20 Ghana cedis, and you pay no commission to anybody. And if you're a rider, your most safe, secure, and affordable ride is definitely Shaxi. Let's go straight into the conversation. So we are talking about Rapperholic, the homecoming concert that happened at the Babaya Rasford Stadium in Kumasi on Saturday 27th. And even before that, there are certain conversations that erupted from the beginning when the announcement was made, with the fact that Shaxi was even part of the sponsors, generated lots of conversation, because before that, we had already seen some level of bromance between Shatta and Sarkodie. So the moment Sarkodie announced this particular concert, one person that so many people were asking questions on whether he was going to be part of the concert was Shatta Wale. And lo and behold, his company, that is Shaxi, a ride-hailing company, was named as one of the sponsors for this particular event. This gave some slight confirmation that Shatta, whether directly or indirectly, was going to be part of this event. And even with that, conversation started with pre-event promotion and all of that, where people were going for interviews left, right, center, talking about Rapperholic. Momentum was definitely building before the event day, of which I think a week or two after the event day, that was when a confirmation came that aside the tour list that had already been named or mentioned that will be performing, Shatta is definitely one of them. And this came as an icing on the cake for some people, especially Shatta movement fans and general music lovers, as well as SAC natives. For them, this was going to be one historic moment, a very memorable day for the people, because looking at who Shatta is, who Sarkodie is, their relationship before in the past and even now, this is what they would love to see in this town. So when the confirmation came, it was all smiles and all sorts of happiness. Now, into the event. Now, what was Shatta's contribution or Shaxi's or Shatta Movement's contribution? Of course, anything that has to do with Shatta Movement there, or anything that has to do with Shatta Wale there, trust Shatta Movement to go all out, even in terms of conversations, talking about it and all. So even before the event day, it was about who and what is performing and who has the what level of impact.
Yeah, man. But I'm gonna be here, you know. Shout out to Sarkodie, you know, for his Rapperholic concert. Shaxi sponsoring, and you know, we supporting. You know, you guys are going to see us in Kumasi. It's going to be a beautiful moment in Kumasi. So yes, all Sac fans, you know, if you know you love Sarkodie, just let's come out, you know, because I'm asking every Shatta Movement fan in Kumasi to come out. So.
And that is how the whole conversation started, with Shatta Wale's involvement and also Shatta Movement involvement, including Shaxi. So that was it. Now, into the event, Shaxi's involvement, I think, started from the early days, even before the weekend now show in the Barcelona. Because Sarkodie stepped into Kumasi on Monday, went through town, and according to him, went by road. For a long time, in over 10 years, Sarkodie had not used the Nkoko route neither. So for the first time, he decided to go by road. And even on that score, when he got to Kumasi, the whole place received him very beautifully and all of that. So second day, that was on Tuesday, that is when Team Shaxi and the lead team for Shatta Movement also took the lead. Ahomache one, your friend said Charlie Park Onyama. Ahomache one on friend said Charlie Park Onyama, and that you have to be in Kumasi because Shaxi is supporting and we are playing a very, very important role, especially commuting them from one point to the other. So we quickly had to take our gears, enter into Kumasi, and make all those arrangements. And when the team got to the grounds, it was one movement to the other, checking on Team Sarkodie in terms of their movements, getting their itineraries, wherever they will be going, whatever they will be doing, taking them smoothly or making their movement very smooth. And that is what Shaxi was about. So if you saw Sarkodie's movement afterwards, it was all in Shaxi branded vehicles, Shaxi branded luxury SUVs, and that was the arrangement with Team Sarkodie, or the sponsorship package for Rapperholic, amidst other ones that also came after. So that was the whole arrangement. So I think when we got there that same day, they went to visit the honorable minister, that is the Ashanti Regional Minister, Dr. Amoako Hene, of which after they went for one or two interviews as part of the pre-event promo for the Rapperholic concert. The following day was, I think, the Legacy Walk. The Legacy Walk also started from the Kumasi City Mall through the principal streets of some point. I think we went to a Doom, through to PZ and all of that. And Charlie, the reception was crazy. To some people, it was about that telepathy between Sam Shatta Movement, because even as Shaxi being part of the sponsors, so many people, like most of the videos that went out, has to do with the people like Sac combination, Shatta Sac combination, the Sac Nation and the Shatta Movement, as well as the general music lovers conversation. And it was a very beautiful scene. For me, one of my interesting moments was seeing Sarkodie walk that distance. Charlie, it wasn't easy. It was a very, very, very long walk. But because trust the people to be involved in terms of music and all of that, Charlie, as a Nanti and a couple, it got to a time, I think the management of Sarkodie literally had to beg him for him to sit in the car. He said he wanted to connect with the people. Into Sarkodie say, "Aunt na come." For the time I'm be seeing no Kumasi City Mall out to the nice sea for Sarkodie Nancy Charlie, and he walked. We a Bible mark here, but just and he walked Charlie. Man worked, and it was because he wanted to touch base. Even throughout the legacy work, there are some people that even came to support, from Asafo Powers, aka Kilentua, to Abbas Sariki Giwa, who was also part, among other top personalities that also joined, including, of course, some of the street laws that came to show their support. So it was done beautifully on the second day. Then on the third day, I think that is when they had the music dialogue, and of which so many people were also there on the day. It happened also at the KNUST, the IDA Auditorium, and that is where that event also happened. So it was part of the activities that led to the main event day, that is the Rapperholic homecoming at the sports stadium. So on the third day, they had the music dialogue, of which Sewa I'm here and I think NYDJ were the moderators on the day, among other top personalities, including the deputy director for your friend is saying the Abiku Santana position, Ministry of Tourism, Creative Arts, and he was there, as well as Dr. Amwako Hene was also there, and other top people that graced the occasion. For the people that came there, it was plenty, from media people to musicians and all, Kweku Flick, to even actors. Like it was a cocktail of entertainers in one room, and they had a huge music dialogue on how we can improve our entertainment and how we can also export, how we can basically go international and also have that level of global impact, and also the unity that some people, according to them, is missing in our entertainment industry. All these conversations were had during that particular time, and it was also another beautiful event. And of course, Shaxi to also show up on the day in terms of picking up the people, sending them to the place, back and forth, and also playing some key important role. On the other hand, or right after, the team also proceeded to do some level of donation to the Okomfanochi Teaching Hospital. That is the Okomfanochi G. That is Okomfanochi Teaching Hospital in Kumasi, and that is where Team Sarkodie, in collaboration with Flora, also they gave some items or donated some items, and also some part of the sponsors donated some items to the hospital as part of showing support.
Magnanimity of people like you. There are people who definitely need support for their care. And so donations like this keep our system running. Whether it is donation that is coming in cash or in kind, whichever way, we welcome it. And again, when others see that people like you are associated with Confanoche, and you pass by to contribute to what we are doing, they are also motivated. Yes, and I'm happy the media is here. So that when people see that, oh, when you were in Kumasi, it was not just for the event, but it was also to also push.
But this is not the first time Sarkodie has donated to a hospital, especially in Kumasi. I think even in Brekum he did same, and even in Kumasi he has also done some before. So it is part of some activities, or more or less like a ritual for Sarkodie to be doing some of these things, especially when he has an event in certain places. So that also was done. And of course, Shaxi played a very important role in commuting Sarkodie from one place to the other, from his apartment and all.
Here, and that's why we are here. So from Flora team, we're here to support him with the donation, with the items, and so that's why today we visited.
Okay. All right. Okay, I go inside close.
Now, that activity was done. Now it was left with preparations towards the main event, that is the concert itself. But before that, as part of the important role Shaxi played in it, you know, there were other supporting acts that were supposed to also come to Kumasi. While some of them are based in Kumasi, others were also supposed to come from other places to Kumasi for that particular event. And the role Shaxi played was picking them up from the airport to their various apartments or hotels, and also from there to the event grounds, and also back to their hotel, and the following day back to the airport for them to also fly to wherever they came from. And it started with a tall list of musicians. A tall list of musicians, including Shatta Wale, from the likes of Jackie to J Bad to Last Made, Olive the Boy, Reggie Rockstone, so many of them, Frank Nehru, so many of them were there. Donzi, not forgetting Kofi Kenata, all these guys, and you can clearly see the excitement with which they were, like the excitement with which was in them for them being part of this particular historic event. When you pick them from the airport, I mean, the level of enthusiasm, crap, and all of that was very, 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 very beautiful. And that was done. Now, to the main event. Before I enter into that, you see, some people would want to question Shaxi's role, or some people probably may have a varied opinions about it, including I've seen comments, people saying, no, Shatta Wale begs Sarkodie to be on the show, even including using Shaxi as part of the beat. You see, sometimes when it gets to this level, we understand each other. And for me, this particular partnership was one of a kind. It was mutually beneficial both for Shaxi as a company and also to Rapperholic, because if I should tell you the level of stress that we had to go through in making sure everybody is okay in terms of movement wasn't a joke. It was not a joke at all before. And with this is the key and crucial role. Even Sarkodie in one of his statements even acknowledged the importance of Shaxi even with regards to this event. To the extent that he even said sometimes he himself will be going through town, sometimes without a Shaxi vehicle. And Ebiana Amanfo did not regard him. But the moment they spot him in a Shaxi vehicle, the level of appreciation and the level of fans doubles.
Say, Omunya, and then you see Corona, yet convoy and now. Everyone I'm rabble, but Obian is a Sarkodie and Avon. Shaxi, I did the as we one day. That's how strong the brand is. As soon as I know, everybody knew that Shatta is in town. And then this is one of the strongest brands that we have, and it's owned by our very own Shatta Wale and Ghanaian.
And that is the impact that Shaxi brought to this particular event, as well as Shatta movement. And we want to say big ups to Team SAC and or Team SAC Nation for that particular opportunity for Shaxi to be part of this whole event and also make a name and make a mark for itself, especially in Kumasi, as we are yet to launch fully. We are yet to launch fully and very operational in Kumasi. So far, thanks be to God, we have some top partners that are helping us, from the likes of Akabeneza to Rich Game and other top people that are helping us trumpet the name to our bro. Big shout outs to you that are helping us to make the groundswork very fertile. So far, we have an office there in Kumasi, and that is part of the arrangement, and it was a very beautiful one.
When you talk about the yellow, talk about the purple. This guy you see pass, be careful. Matic, you know we no fear devil. And the singing motto no be no trouble. What God no fi do, no they exist. I know be baby, you go breastfeed. If you talk, I not like, I go resist. I be right, you be wrong. If you talk too much, I dey insist. Hey, you know the things where I pass through. Ya be salty, slick and taju. I say I cry life, no be cartoon. Matic, woman la net to my pancake. And shopping abu to my cliente. And I remember 1, 2, 3, she 20. Cause I want life when they leave no be ampe. Woman la net to my pancake. And shopping abu to my cliente. And I remember 1, 2, 3, she 20. Cause I want life when they leave no be ampe.
Now, let's go into Sarkodie and SAC Nation's effort Of course, even before the event day, there were certain people, or maybe the week, there were certain people that were complaining about the level of enthusiasm or hype, even in Kumasi, to the extent that even Portfolio at a point came to write, say he wasn't feeling the euphoria as the energy from Mano and all of that. But then, in the course of the week, let me also commend Sac Natives or Sac Nation, the fan base of Sarkodie, who also took certain initiatives to enter into the grounds, even onto the media, to be granting media interviews on behalf of Sarkodie, as well as helping him promote this particular event, because this was a very big deal, or this is a very big deal in the lives of Sarkodie, or in the life of Sarkodie. So it was very prudent. He goes all out, and in fact, his Sac Nation did not disappoint him this time. His Sac Nation did not disappoint him as they went all out, even throughout the promotional period, even on the event day. Now, let's go to the event setup, and of course, we talk about the performances. So, on that D-Day, the whole place was set. Let me say big ups to Event Factory, that is Nabil Al Hassan and his team. They did like very well and very beautiful with the setup. Like, especially when you see the aerial shots, Ube Fili. It was nice. It was beautiful. The demarcations, the barricading and everything. The setup was top notch. The only sad thing was the fact that they could not get the entire stadium edifice to explore with their creativity. But even the section that they got, I mean, they were able to do it. For the stage, come on, top stage, top notch, like from one angle to the other, production was one of a kind. And it is what it is. It is what it is when it comes to this particular event. So for setup there, of course, the organizers Event Factory did not disappoint, and that is one of the key highlights. I don't know if you also saw it, but even though when it was time for action, the setup, the beauty nature of the beautiful nature of the setup, unfortunately did not matter like that, because na yehu VIP ni yehu regular and yehu VIP na to album, and it was very, very unfortunate. Now, to performances on the day, we all know performances officially started late, and it was nobody's fault. I mean, from force majeure, that is the rain that came through from morning, and it was very serious. Eto nate, eto nate. It rains and it stops, it rains and it stops, and it rains and it stops, and that is how it was for the entire day till even the following morning. So officially, the event started a little late, and it was because of even so many factors. So many factors, from some musicians stuck in traffic, some musicians turning up late, and all of that. But then, whoever stepped on stage gave their A game. Whoever had the opportunity, even aside Sarkodie, he didn't have a choice. But even among the supporting acts, the people that showed up to show Sarkodie love, none of them came outdoor. Everybody brought out their A game, including the MCs that even turned out on the night. It was very beautiful. It was extremely beautiful, and for me, I enjoyed every bit of the performances. Every bit of the performances. Now, let's go to some key points that I would want us to talk about. And as we have this discussion, you also share a part in this whole conversation, as you can also share your views in the comment section. Which one did you enjoy that much? Which one did you enjoy so much in this particular or with this particular event? Let me know in the comment section. But on to the second part, let's talk about the rains and how it disrupts the entire show. For me, some people have called it a blessing. Some people have also called it a curse with regards to this event. For me, it is mixed for me. At one point, I will call it a blessing because the number of people that were at the place wanting access to this particular event was crazy. If at a point somebody had the fears that maybe a show we a nipa ma, then that person's fear, we don't know where it came from. Because the caliber of people that were on the show, even with Shatta's enthusiasm and how he even promised people he was going to turn out on the day, and even when Shatta was announced that Shatta is in Kumasi, the entire, like the people that were at the sports stadium wanting access to this particular event was crazy. But then Reigns never, it was able to reduce that number to certain extent, because there were some people that could not come out because of the rains, who were locked up in their various homes. There were some people that were at the venue, and when the rain started, maybe had to go back. But nevertheless, the people that were even in the auditorium, or the people that were even outside the stadium wanting access, like, were equally the same number of people that were in the stadium enjoying the show. And the whole place was packed. The whole place was like totally packed, and it was crazy. You see, for even before the event started, the event was already sold out. As some people were even holding tickets and even selling them out at different prices. Some people were even holding tickets and even selling them out at different prices. So to them, so to some of us, it was even a sold out event even before the event officially started, because the number of people that were there was crazy. Now, on the other side, while some people would call it a curse, would call it something that was not so good, would be out of the fact that it disrupted the set. It disrupted the show. It disrupted the running order. It disrupted security, disrupted so many things on the day. Because at that point, so many people were agitated because in Obono, or pay access to the or like to the stadium, at least Oremwa obetimi akope baby ashe. But onye rem, and now security breaches and all of that. Some security personnel to challenge Obono we just get no one makope ne baby atna. And this was part of the disadvantages that the rain brought. Even on the main stage, unfortunately, there were so many equipments that got spoiled. So many of them. So many of them, because you know the place is an open place. The place is an open place, and at this point, at this time, even in the year, it's not a time that so like we expect lots of rains like we've been seeing in recent times. So unfortunately, the event organizers were caught up in the middle, where they had no other options than to open their equipment for them to receive the rains like that, because that is how the setup was made. And unfortunately, the rain destroys almost half of most of the equipment that were lined up on the day. So yes, the rains caused certain advantages, but certain disadvantages there. It was plenty. Certain challenges that it brought was plenty. The traffic, we know, normally Ankasampono, se bibi koso a certain part of town. We know if there is a lot of activity going on, we know the kind of traffic it brings already, plus the rains. So it was utterly crazy around that particular side, and that is it. For security breaches there, and normally also, it was unfortunate that at a point, Charlie, security was low. Security was low. While some people are blaming some of the security agencies that were there on the night, others are also blaming the fans, whilst others blame the organizers. To some of us there, it was an unfortunate situation where some security personnel were seen, they themselves allowing those breaches. And it was an eyesore. It was crazy and it was unfortunate. Now, artists that missed out on performances. Well, I know Sarkodie himself has come out to apologize to certain artists, especially the likes of Jackie and others that were not able to perform.
Things that people have looked and spoken about too has to do with the surprises.
Yes.
I mean, nobody thought of Bravo was coming through.
Yes.
Reggie Rockstone.
Reggie Rocks,
That's crazy.
and I remember where's Kwanzi? He's not here. Yeah, I remember we had to go and pick Reggie.
Yes.
And then he came from behind the stage. When he saw, it's like, hey.
Yes.
It's like, now, Sarkodie, you've done it for my boy.
Yes. And yeah, Bradford, definitely, that was like my biggest surprise. And then Reggie Rockstone as well. These two people, they raised Sarkodie, literally. Because what they did is what inspired me to make music. I definitely wanted to see them there. Let me use this opportunity. I know I called her, but I have to say this here to Jackie that you guys didn't see. This is the craziness that happened backstage that went out of hand. My sister wasn't able to be there. I personally had to reach out right from the stage to call her. Because I can imagine her coming all the way just to come and support me, not because of anything. It's the fact that my big brother is doing something, let me come and support. And then when you come, there will be a lot of things that happen backstage. A lot of emotions will run through you, especially, you know, because of how far she came from. I'm pretty sure she came with family that came to see her. YP wasn't able to perform as well. Big shouts to my boy. I know that he knows that I got him. Like, it's beyond this. And then, so sorry to all these guys who weren't able to grace the stage. And I still thank them. Hopefully we can get it better. We have seen a lot with this show. That this show made us feel like when we started Rapperholic in Accra. Same thing.
You pick all the lessons
and now
from
when you come to Accra, smooth, everything. We know the blueprint. Kumasi is a different territory, so we're trying to figure out our stance here. But
again, it was a stadium.
The stadium. You know, we came in too big. You know, so but we still keep it bigger than that. So we will figure out ways to accommodate it. So big shouts to Jackie, and sorry again. I know I called you, but I had to say this publicly. That sorry to you and the team for everything that happened. Same to YP and any other artists, whether underground or known, who wasn't able to do what they had to do. There's a lot that happened. I took a lot of songs out of my playlist because we had to just do it quick and move. So,
I was going to go there because people had asked that, you know, during our interview on BT.
Somebody like Reggie Rockstone has also come out to talk about the fact that to him, even though he had the chance to hold the mic, be on stage and all of that, to him, he wouldn't call what he did a performance because that is not what was planned. That is not what was planned. So it was very unfortunate. Now, the artists that could not perform were so many factors. One, some were caught up in the rain. Unfortunately, some were also caught up in heavy traffic. Some there, they intentionally were late. And there, others missing out on performances were not their fault because heavy traffic na eba as at that time. No. Unfortunately, some people or some artists were even locked up like an artist like Jackie was locked up like 3 hours in traffic, even at the main entrance of the stadium. So when she entered, unfortunately, her set was done. Set na pound so much that they could not roll back because as at that time the rest were also trooping in to come and do this, and already not show not drag to the extent that to the time that Shatta even got to the venue, Sarkodie had not even mounted stage. So it was very unfortunate, and even I had Sarkodie's set list, and even with the set list, some of the things had to be cut short. So it was very unfortunate like that. Now, on the fun side, let's go to some top highlights that also popped up on the night. Looks like this whole your friend is saying Rapperholic there. Timbaland for Pencrofford your marble adverts they are bomb pabwa. This Rapperholic would be one of the perfect, your friend is saying, period. Perfect material meet immediately use the running adverts. Because I can tell you, say maybe apart from a man, 99.9 of them were all in Timbaland. Different colors. A be share black, maybe share white. And the common one, of course, the brown Timbaland that so many people know. That is what was on display on stage. As to whether Omo ban we catch me share Timbaland, also share Timbaland, there be. As to whether Omo frey they are in him. But it was a display of who and what, like who is wearing what, and in who is wearing what, the most common footwear on the night was Timberland. I don't know if you also found it very interesting though, but that was it. And the other one was the energy from the performers. Charlie, did you watch? Yeah, Sarkodie set there, Maka. He no get choice. He be in show. So if you don't kill him, that it ain't in there. But Sarkodie outdid himself. In fact, Sarkodie's performance was killer. But some people that also entered his set, for me, some of the people that I enjoyed so much was Kofi Kinata. Kofi Kinata did a solo set. And Charlie, this is what we call entertainer. Back to back to back to back to back. The antics and all. It was beautiful. Another one was also Kweku Flake and Sarkodie when they were performing Ejumani Nina Namayeno. Level Animako, our friends say Messiah. When they were performing Messiah. Kweku Flake and Sarkodie, when they were performing Messiah, it was beautiful. I mean, Kweku Flake was performing to Sarkodie. He was not performing to the fans, though. He was performing to Sarkodie to the extent that he even changed some of the lyrics to suit that particular tangent. For that of Kweku Smoke and Sarkodie there, and no, the least said the better, because Kweku Smoke self, I think, was not announced. But people had a hint that Kweku Smoke was in town and that he was going to perform. And when man appeared on stage, it was fire. The next one was Obrafour and Sarkodie, where Sarkodie became teary. Because now, I think there are two songs that are on Sarkodie's heart now. Two collaborations are. Memphis said Danakuma Sopa. It is one with Kweku Flake, which is the Messiah, and the one with Obrafour. Sarkodie. Because if you should ask him, anytime he's performing such songs, you can clearly see the emotions. And I believe the one with Obrafour talks about him as Sarkodie, as a person. Maybe before, like his journey as Sarkodie. And the one with Kweku Flake, Messiah Mabo, is what talks about him currently. Now, Sarkodie sees himself as that Messiah in the industry kind of posture. And that is how Sarkodie sees himself. So, it is not so surprising. Say, he was like, whenever they were performing such songs, he got into his element to the extent that even with Obrafour, he knelt down and was even teary. Another one was the tribute to Daddy Lumba. We know Sarkodie's love for Daddy Lumba. We know the soft spot Sarkodie has for Daddy Lumba. The last time Sarkodie watched Daddy Lumba performed, he cried. He said, "The minister Sarkodie and I cry baby. Bibi kitu ebi knows. Yesi be me so okode for. She knows. Zona ye gangster. Well, it is part of it. But then that whole session was also beautiful. Now, let's talk about the main one that is on the lips of so many people. The Shatta Sack combination. I mean, when Shatta stepped on stage, the whole place caught fire. And you can see the response, like the energy in the stadium. It was one that this is a memory that is going to last with people forever and ever. That experience, I don't know when it will be happening again, but that Sarkodie putting Shatta Wale on that bill was one of the best decisions, because it was one that the fans had missed. It was one that the fans were hungry for. And on the day, seeing these two people on stage was beautiful. I mean, energy, rapport, and all, like the performance in its entirety was crazy. And even when Shatta was left to do his solo set, Charlie, I said, Shatta, they are no nim. Okay, yeah, kitwebi. He goes all out. No wonder, even after the show, one of the people that is most talked about, or most people are talking about, is Shatta Wale. Because the level of enthusiasm on this event, at a point, Obedri said, show ni idea. Obedri said, show no, idea. And let me say big ups to the fans as well. Charlie, the level of conditions are fans ni firm, but still were able to stay through and like stay put at the event throughout the entire period. The energy they gave to these musicians, including the MC and the organizers, was crazy. Staying through the rain. I always say that it takes a lot for somebody to say majority ashatare fifie about show. The person needs more reason. Because I know now all better no. Otie woni phone so. Ohwe woni YouTube. Ohwe wo TV so. Wahum. Yes, they see you on social media. So it will take a lot for somebody to say, I am dressing up, buying your ticket and coming for your event. And these people were there, stood on their feet for like throughout the night in harsh weather condition. That is the rains. Because in Siona Neton, Nenyam Kolensu, like heavy downpour. Very heavy. Very, 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 very heavy. But yet, the fans said we still wanted to show our people love, and that is what they did. Sarkodie's performance there, I've said it. For him, he didn't have a choice. He had to kill it. And Sarkodie outdid himself on the day. The level of performance for Chai, I don't know when or who again. Now, Maccabium says Sarkodie needed the entire stadium. So do you think that after this particular event, Sarkodie should push for a 360? Because as it stands, I think the NSA, the National Sports Authority, are having conversations because now the conversation is ongoing for the National Sports Authority to acquire a pitch cover. Because the level of events cost stadium on man for push here because of pitch cover, then NSA is missing out on some top revenues in there. It is a because at the end of the day, they will spend millions of Ghana cedis on these pitches, on these edifices, and kobo match crowd, popular stand 20 Ghana, 30 Ghana, and the crowd no back kind nipa, and I understand by copy for me Premier League opening. Question nipa they go. And even if everybody is to pay 100 cedis camper, will this revenue or return be able to cater for the league, cater for the stadium, cater for the two teams? Omo check out anything. Omo check out omo anything. So now that the NSA is pushing for the pitch covers, do you think next time Sarkodie wants to do this, he should attempt the 360? Because so far, Shatta has done it, Stonebwoy has done it, Sarkodie is yet to do it. But he has done this at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. Now, before I wrap up, I would want us to talk about the newfound love for Shatta Wale after the show. Where is this coming from? Like I said, this is going to be a very holistic, like detailed review of the Rapperholic and everything it entails before, during, and after. So now let's talk about one thing that has become very topical. That is Shatta Wale's name after his performance. Well, to some of us, we are not surprised. Because like I said, Shatta Wale no, ono nim. Okay, wait there. May yene kitwebi. Unless he says he will not do it. But if Shatta says he is going to do it, he goes all out and crazily out. So on the day, his performance there, killer, top notch. But then, looks like right after the performance, there is some sudden love beef for Shatta Wale as a man for being Tiasie. Looks like the number of media houses that are singing his praises. Some people are surprised. But to some of us, for me, I'm not surprised. I am not surprised because this is Shatta Wale. And you see, recently, Vibes Cartel even said something. Say, you can fake hype. You can create hype. But you see, impact, you can't fake impact. And that is what Shatta Wale is about. I mean, so many people performed, just like Shatta did. Perhaps maybe he had a little more time than others. But the impact that Shatta Wale brought to this particular event is one that you cannot overlook. Before, during, and after. See, before the show, how many of these supporting acts were talking about Rapperholic? Aside the fact that they were posting their flyers. How many were talking about Rapperholic? Shatta came on live to talk about Rapperholic and the fact that all the Shatta Movement's fans calling on his fans to support this event. Right after the flyer was posted, to the extent that he even went ahead with his company Shaxi to support this particular event. And look at the key and important role Shaxi played with regards to this event. Until way after the show, some memorable performance. So when to me and come we and say we for. If you don't give him his flowers, and ye be ye keke ne show ni ase. Ye be ye keke and show ni ase. But then, some people, like I said, have given their statements and all, like they are showering praises from one media house to the other, and it is very, very interesting.
Owusu Ado.
Sarkodie.
Yeah.
Sarkodie.
Saturday tremu. Enye nipa ketewa na opuli
Oh,
was
Debbie. Mummy and Fancy that Shatta.
No, me really.
I just love that guy. As I see a SM. You know,
For life is for life.
Oh, you're a very serious guy. It's in me now. I said, if we had that Sarkodie for the initiative. But no crepa say.
Shatta yadi.
But for Shatta.
The presence alone. Philly Stadium.
My name is Shatta Wale, man. That guy, he needs to be worshipped.
The presence alone. Hey, SM.
As I saw mining manager Shatta, Stoneboy, Sarkodie, Kwabna, Infantino, Takradi, Kofi Kenata.
Where we were, the hotel we were in, Veronica's or something, yeah. That's where most of the artists actually lodged as well. Okay. So, I mean, the euphoria was there. And that guy Shatta Wale is another thing. Yeah, he actually is who he says he is in terms of the street. Yeah, I mean the love the street showed that guy is like you can't take it away. They coming to pick the guy from the hotel. Was a whole movie.
I saw videos and I was like,
a whole movie.
It looks like the cameras were literally just
look. I mean, Wale is something else.
He's one of the very few people we can call celebrities.
Yeah. From the street love he gains is dangerous. He added a lot of value to the event. Honestly, he did. I mean, we're discussing that the people who stayed in the rain and watched that show largely are the SM fans.
But where do you think it's from? Share your views in the comment section. This has been the very in-depth review of the Rapperholic 2025, the homecoming concert that took place on the 27th of September 2025 at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium in Kumasi, Ashanti region. Were you there? Did you watch from home? Did you follow on social media? What is your review? Share your views in the comment section. Let me hear from you. I think subsequently, if anything erupts, we will definitely have a discussion on it. On the other hand, I think some people were dragging Stonebwoy left, right, center for a tweet that he made and all of that. For me, I wouldn't want to delve into it because it is a whole topic for another day. And I wouldn't want to add it to like the review for this whole concert. It was a very beautiful concert. Big ups to Sarkodie for making history. Big ups to Shatta for coming through for his brother in terms of support from all angles. And all the other artists that came through, including the ones that did not perform. In fact, if someone shows Sarkodie love, they wouldn't even have turned out. But for them to come out and even show their face or even their presence, show that they really cared about Sarkodie. And two, the event organizers, Event Factory, who were the machinery behind all the entire production. God richly bless you guys for holding Sarkodie down. To the fans, Charlie, you guys are the real MVP. Because at a point, Sarkodie, even in his hotel, were so like, I feel they not dream to the extent that Charlie and for music more mumpo no munkofi. But then you guys stayed through all these harsh weather conditions, all these arrangements, and still supported your artist on stage in these hard times. God richly bless you, the fans. And very soon, Shatta Movement also has some special announcement that will be coming. But then, don't worry, announcement in a bar. A bomb, it is going to be a big one. So you stay tuned. But then, share your views in the comment section. My name is Roland Amati. This has been live on Roland Report. I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.
Hey! Aye! Hey!